It is the season for screaming. Then again, not really. It's not Halloween, but it seems to be the season for Scream movies. And your boy in the bathroom just became a Scream queen this last week. Because in the past week, I've watched all 7 Scream movies. I'll say this, I know these movies aren't super horror based, but after watching 7 in a row, it's definitely got me looking over my shoulder at night, or in the back seat, and all around the back of my minivan the other day. I've seen the movie, I know the rules, I'm not dying. Now that we've seen them, it's time to rank them. And there will be spoilers. Hey, I warned you, stay at your own risk. It's not my fault if something gets spoiled and you want to. And let's start with the worst. In last place, and at the risk of being threatened by many of you, I have Scream 3. You know, the slogan was something like, "This time, all bets are off." This movie wanted to be so hard and so cool, and it so wasn't. The whole time I was watching, it just felt like, okay, so we've reached that part in the trilogy where it's finally made straight for TV. It looked like a straight for TV film. We had the same actors. Apparently the budget was there, but it didn't look like it. It felt like a low-budget slapstick fest, and, you know, the thing is, yes, the first 2 movies were campy, they're supposed to be, but this one went from campy to whatever this was. It also didn't help it that this was in the early 2000s, around 9/11, when violence was really looked down upon. I mean, not saying we should look highly on violence, but you see it in movies during the early 2000s, and Scream 3 did not go unscathed. It's a rated R slasher film, but we want to take away the slashing and the rated R feeling. And then, of course, in any horror movie, characters are always stupid, but in this one, it felt like they were just trying to be dumb, like it was a spoof of itself. I mean, I can't count the times that Dewey and Gale just were in the house knowing the killer's there, and they were like, okay, I'll see you later, let's separate, try not to die. And then Roman Bridger, this twist was trying to be clever, I guess, but it felt just like lazy writing. So apparently we have this new character that's actually the half-brother of Sidney Prescott. Give me a break. Roman was nyeh. I mean, props to him for being the only solo Ghostface. But what really made me mad is them trying to say it was Roman Bridger that gave Billy Loomis his idea. Roman Bridger corrupted him and got Billy Loomis to go on this killing spree. Nah, man, come on. Billy Loomis was just bad on his own. He's legendary. Up next, we got the newest member of our franchise, Scream 7. Honestly, the best thing about this movie was the Scary Movie 6 trailer that played before the movie even started. It was awesome watching a Scary Movie trailer and a Scream movie. In all seriousness, obviously Neve Campbell coming back was the best part. She did great, but it's really disappointing that this is the movie she came back for. Yeah, you get a few artsy, cool kills, but overall, this movie just was sloppy. And if you disagree with this ranking, let me know. Slander me in the comments. I want to see what you think, because I've seen a lot of people that apparently really liked Scream 7. I was not one of them. Scream 7 tried to use nostalgia as like, you know, a hook and bait for people to come in and watch the movie. And there's a time for nostalgia. I feel like the other Scream movies have done it better, but this movie used it in such a forceful way. Bringing back Matthew Lillard to some degree was nice. I didn't love how they did it, but using AI made sense based on the generation in which we live. After that, it's just all downhill. And Stu not being the main villain, I mean, yeah, I guess it was too obvious, but we got Anna Camp instead as Jessica. Honestly, it just makes me want to... The worst reveal in the series. You have 3 ghost faces. One dies getting hit by Gale and was just a guy at an insane asylum that they hired because, you know, he'd do it. Sorry, I shouldn't say insane asylum, but then you have mental rehab place's manager as the other ghost face because no motive besides, hey, this Jessica chick's hot. And then you have Jessica, who is a big fan of Sydney's, and she just wants Sydney to be the final girl again, so she helped that happen. I mean, I guess we need filler movies sometimes, so sure. They killed off most of the people that could have been Ghostface in the movie, ruined the suspense. But the one good thing is we got McKenna Grace. At least she's in this movie and everything else. And Neve Campbell, could you write a concealed permit into your character and stop, you know, putting the gun in places where you can't get to it or it takes you 30 seconds to get into the lockbox? This movie just wasn't great. It tried to connect to 5 and 6 by having the twins come back and Gale Weathers. There was really no need for them. Now we are crossing into new territory. After Scream 7, we are officially crossing into a line of no bad movies. After this, the rest of the rankings just keep getting better and better, and the reason there's a 5th is because we have to have a 5th place, not because it's bad. It just gets better from here. In 5th place, we got Scream, the 2022 version.
It's an honor.
or as many people are calling it, Scream the Requel, the legacy sequel. So not only does this movie cross the line into being good, but it also crossed a lot of other lines. People do say that Scream 4 definitely upped the violence and carnage, and that's true, but this movie is where it really changed. In the past, we've seen stabbings, we've seen blood. Ooh. But in this one, we see close-up kills. We see the knife doing things a knife should never do to another human being. And it was the first time where I really just cringed as I watched. The intro definitely mimics the first Scream, but you know, this is a legacy sequel, so it's supposed to, and it was done so well. And I'd say the scenes involving Tara Carpenter, played by Jenna Ortega, were my favorite in the movie. You have that intro scene, which was horrific, but then you have a hospital scene where Tara's all alone at the hospital, and this just felt like diving into horror compared to the other ones. You know, we still have a little campiness in this movie, but it definitely toned down the campiness just enough and raised the horror just enough that it feels like it revitalized the franchise. Say that 3 times fast. Revitalize the franchise, revitalize the franchise, revitalize the franchise. Oh, yeah. This movie also took much bigger risks by killing off a legacy character, our beloved Dewey, which I will say in the whole series, that's probably the only death that ever made me feel actually sad. Dewey is just a good dude, and usually, you know, Ghostface kills someone, you're like, oh man, that sucks. All right, let's go. But with Dewey, it's like, did we just do that? Did we just get rid of him? But as they say in the movie, this time, it just feels different. But they'll continue to say that for the next few movies as well. The reveals were great in this movie. I've got no complaints. Richie and Amber made great ghost faces. You get Amber, who's just a psycho. That's all there is to it. And Richie, who's obviously a psycho, but just the dork that wants to finish his movie. I think what keeps this from being ranked higher mainly is the blend of old and new characters. There's a right way to do it, but this is one of those movies that left me going, you know, I kind of wish I just saw more of the legacy characters. I wanted more Sidney or more Gale or more Dewey, but they're trying to hand it off to this new generation, and it worked okay, but not great. Number 4. This one was really tough. I kept going back and forth between this choice and Scream 2022, but in the end, I'm going to go with Scream 2.
What's your favorite scary movie?
This one just ranks a little higher because I love that 90s feel. It follows the first so well, and it feels like a direct sequel. The tones are the same, the scares are similar, and not in a bad way, but in a, hey, we're still in the same franchise way. The campiness is there, the gore isn't over the top. Not that that's a bad thing for later movies, but it just fit the style, and there's enough new characters that it keeps the mystery there, the whole, you know, Scooby-Doo whodunit vibe. The intro wasn't quite as scary as the first one. It definitely went more silly there with the movie theater scene and the 2 people dying. But it also felt like it fit the tone. And to give a shout out to my favorite scene, favorite scene, I'm talking to you. It's when Sidney and her friend are in the back of the cop car and it crashes and they have to climb from the back seat and over Ghostface's lap to escape. Just the suspense of that scene alone was fantastic. The reveals in this one, not my favorite. Nancy Loomis, cool. Billy's mom's angry and wants revenge. It was all right. But then Mickey, the friend that's just crazy, very little motive. Number 3, and one that honestly surprised me after rewatching the franchise, but I'm going to go with Scream 6. For a movie that almost completely goes away from the original cast of the franchise, this one killed it, and a lot of people too. Jenna and Melissa play sisters Tara and Sabrina, and they lead the movie great. They're joined by twins Mindy and Chad from the last film. Gale Weathers makes an appearance a couple times. And I was worried when Sidney Prescott wasn't coming back for this movie, but I think it made the movie better because it was a clean cut. It's all about them. They didn't have to try to blend these 2 plots. You know, Sidney's involved. And I'm sure they could have done it, but I think this movie was better than 5. This movie is also the goriest entry in the franchise, and I don't need gore to make it a good movie. But it did make it feel refreshing because I had the hardest time watching this one. I'm not a big gore fan. I don't usually watch a lot of crazy, nasty horror type movies. But this one was on the brink, and at times I just was having to look away. You know, where the knife used to just kind of go in and out. Now you see it in there doing all sorts of things, and you get close-up views of it. Nah, I don't need that. But it was done well. And then this Ghostface is just a madman. My favorite scene is when Tara and Sabrina are running away, and they run into a mini-mart with like 10 other people. And Ghostface just goes in right after and just starts stabbing the heck out of people. And then starts shotgunning people too. Just no fear, which makes him more scary. It's like Ghostface got an upgrade and went Super Saiyan or something. I should have known it was going to be great though. The trailer was done well. It felt artistic, and the movie followed. I mean, the train scene with Mindy with the lights flickering, I feel like that's super iconic, done really well. Which should have made me realize Scream 7 wouldn't be that great, because it didn't really do that for me in the trailer. All right, we are finally down to our top 2. Numero dos.
You should have seen the look on your face.
We've got Scream 4, which I found out is a lot of people's weaker entry. I really liked it. Maybe it's because I was 15 when I watched it. I was at that age. But to me, this is a moment when the film first crossed the line into being a little more intense. No, it's not as gory as the newest two, but they definitely try to make the carnage just worse. And it's more like the sets. There's a scene where Sidney walks in on a room, and it straight up looks like Ghostface painted the room red. Like, there's not even that much blood in somebody. Like, what was he doing? Just flipping around a blood-soaked towel? I like this color. This was the first movie after the trilogy. I guess I mentioned it earlier, but really it started with Scream 4 that lowered the campiness just enough and raised the horror, and it was just more intense, which I've already said. I didn't love the forced Gale and Dewey drama. I get they always have to have their fighting and bickering, but just for one movie, have them be married and actually working together like a solid team. This movie, though, is an example of what you can do right when blending old characters and new characters. Where Scream 2022 faltered a little bit, I feel like in this one, Sidney Prescott felt like fully part of the movie, didn't feel like a side plot, but you also have a blend of new, younger characters that you enjoy. And then the reveal, one of my favorite reveals in the franchise, just because it's so unhinged and so crazy. Sidney's cousin, Jill, played by Emma Roberts. What a nut job. She is tired of Sidney being famous. She wanted a taste of the fame, so she decides to kill a lot of people. And that infamous scene where she's beating herself up, I get the Stu Macher and Billy Loomis scene of them just stabbing each other to look like they got hurt is great. But man, Jill does it all to herself. She's just beating the crap out of herself. She's just going to town, punching, stabbing, throwing herself on glass tables. How often do you get to see something like that? And number one, what could it be? Who knows?
You're not scared, are you? Scream.
Yes, of course it's Scream, and not the 2022 one, 1996. It's the original. How do you beat the original? I mean, they've tried 6 times. It's gotta be first because this is the first time we see Ghostface in the Scooby-Doo whodunit slasher feel. We got a great cast. It's new, it's fresh. The phone call scene at the beginning with Drew Barrymore is one of the best entrances to a movie. And I love that marketing stunt. Having Drew Barrymore as the main character on the poster and then killing her off in 5 minutes. Movies need to take more risks like that. Besides Neve Campbell being the star, Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard made this movie so good. I mean, my favorite scene is right here with Matthew Lillard. Due to copyright, maybe I can't show it, but it's when he's talking to Sydney, asking if she really called the cops, and he's like, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. And that twist was actually a twist, because by the end you're thinking, no way it could be Billy Loomis. He just got stabbed. Nope, he faked it, and it was him. Which we should have known all along, because he's kind of a creeperton. Well, there's my ranking. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. And have you seen Scream 7? Did you like it? And as always, if you liked your time here in the bathroom with me, as long as it wasn't too weird, come back for more.